Okay, I got to ask you about Atomic Dog. Was that like the craziest timeline for you? Like the moment of George?
Oh, that one was like the peak of the craziness. I was tripping my ass off, needing to be tripping or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I rushed my way in there and just took over the session and dubbed in before I knew what the beat was. And when the beat came on, I couldn't tell what key it was in because all you had was the beat in the backward stuff. So it was no key. So that's why I'm talking. This is the story of famous dogs. For the dog that chases his tail will be busy. I'm trying to wait for the key to see what key is in. And the song came out much better than it should have come out.
Go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Happy New Year. I'm hyped. It's 2025. We're wishing you the greatest year of your lives. And this is our first podcast of 2025. And we're kicking it off with an amazing guest, Mr. George Clinton. So as you may know, it is Grammy season. So we have had this year's Grammy nominees on the pod every single week. So make sure to go back and listen to those previous episodes if you haven't already. We had on Jacob Collier. He's nominated for Album of the Year. We had Zed, who's nominated for Best Electronic Album. We had Alicia, who's nominated for Producer of the Year, and Walter Afanasieff, who is nominated for Best Song in Visual Media. And today we have the amazing George Clinton, who is nominated for Best Audiobook for his new audiobook, And Your Ass Will Follow, which I highly recommend you go and listen. It's on Audible, and it is amazing. So this conversation is super fun. I get to go deep with George on really anything. And I wanted to specifically talk about a lot of the sessions, like how did he write Give Up the Funk? What was the session like for Flashlight? So we talk all about those, One Nation Under a Groove, a bunch of fun things. And we also go in deep into sampling, how he embraced sampling, was like the first person to embrace sampling, which then enabled this whole generation of hip hop. We talk about the lawsuits that he's in right now, his new movie that's going to be coming out with Eddie Murphy playing him. We go deep on a lot of things, his children, his grandchildren, how the whole Parliament-Funkadelic scene is around today, how he created the scene, embraced community, his leadership, how he embraced change and pivots genres. It's really incredible. It opened up my eyes a lot, and I really hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, here is my conversation with George Clinton. Sitting here today with me is one of the most influential artists of all time. Make a ton of noise for Dr. Funkenstein, Uncle Jam, the Funk Mob Commander, Captain of the Mothership, the Maggot Overlord, Mr. Atomic Dog himself, George Clinton!
Hey.
What's up, George? What do we got?
Whatever you want to do, bro. I'm with you.
Great to see you, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Like coming to the end of another year and ready to take off again.
Oh, man, 2025. The Mothership continues, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You have been doing this for so long, man. We appreciate it. We love it. The legacy continues. I remember we first met in person when we did the Jam with you in 2019.
Yeah, right.
And we were celebrating you because I remember that week you were getting the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right. Yeah, that was one of those evenings. We had a good time that day. That was a lot of fun. A lot of folks was there giving up the funk. And here we are, man. Back here, another moment in history. Still getting awards and shit.
Definitely still getting awards. Yes, congrats on the recent nomination for Best Audiobook.
Yeah.
And Your Ass Will Follow, dude. I love it. I listened to the whole thing immediately. It is so great.
It was fun telling those stories, recalling all of that. And matter of fact, I've been on the road since then, remembering all the different aspects of those stories we was telling.
So I have here in my office, I have this from when we did the Jam with you. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I remember that. Oh, wow.
I remember that night we had like a bunch of epic photos of you on the wall in the lobby. And at the end of the night, I was with Tonisha. Shout out to Tonisha. And I got this photo of you and I ended up putting it on my wall. in my studio. And I wanted to ask you about this photo because I look at it all the time.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Lynn Goldsmith?
Yeah, Detroit.
Yeah, what's the story of this photo?
I don't know the concept. I think they just had things for me to put on. They like to see me in different things. I think that's what that was. I think I was making a fool of myself with a joint in my mouth, boxing gloves on, a cape. All that stuff is clashing.
Man,
but see, Lynn, she did great photos, with different props. I liked doing photos with her. She did quite a few of the ones that I like, and that's one of them. Yeah, that was one of her. Yeah, that's Detroit finest.
What year is this? Do you remember? Like 70s?
No, that had to be in the 80s, I think.
Anyways, man, I love this photo. I look at it all the time, and I remember it was on the wall, and I asked Tonisha, I was like, can I have this one? She was like, yeah, take it. I was like, let's go. So it's like prominently, it's huge, man. It's like 6 feet tall, and it's like in my studio.
Yeah,
I love this photo.
That's definitely a Lynn Goldsmith.
So it's so crazy to me that you got the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and you, George Clinton, somehow do not already have a Grammy win, which blows my mind with all of your incredible awards, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, all these things. And it's like, George Clinton of anybody needs a Grammy. And so I'm so happy when this audiobook came out and I listened to it. And then when I saw you got the Grammy nom, I was like, let's go, man. Congrats. And everyone needs to go and listen to this audiobook because it's so great. George telling stories. You recorded it in that studio that you're in right now, right?
Yeah, right where I'm sitting at now. Yeah. That was deep because just, doing it with Archie, we talked about this stuff over the years. Like we knew this day was coming one day and that we would have to explain ourselves and all the different things we were thinking as we were doing what we were doing. So a lot of traps has been set in my lifetime, for knowing I was going to have to intellectualize it or legitimize it one day. I did a lot of stupid things, a lot of crazy things that I know would be fun. Just trying to remember why I did it. But a lot of them I know that I did just to be relevant when it came time to be. And this is that time explaining a lot of that craziness that we've done over the years. I did a thing with, what's his name? Tales of the Tour Bus.
Oh, yes. You did that.
Yeah.
With Mike Judge?
Mike Judge.
Whoa, what was that? I didn't know you did that. I got to see that.
Yeah, no, oh my God. That was a good one because the animated, you're able to show a lot of this stuff that we do because it's animated in the first place, so it makes a lot more sense when you see it done in animation. He did a lot of the stuff that we did over the years, streaking and getting naked on stage or all of that stuff. It's actually really funny now that when I see it coming back at me like that, this is a good story to tell. I'm liking this. It's going to be fun actually telling this whole story. I want to see what Eddie Murphy is doing. He's doing the life story. So
so the biopic is happening and you got Eddie Murphy playing you.
I have no idea what they're going to do, but I just like his interpretation of anything anyway. He'll have his own version of what we were doing back then, and I'm sure I'm going to laugh at it because he's always been funny.
Oh my God, dude, that's going to be incredible. Yeah, when I heard the news, so the George Clinton biopic, the Funkadelic biopic is happening, and Eddie Murphy is playing George. So when you heard that it was going to be Eddie Murphy, what did you think? Like, how did you feel?
When I heard there was, because I used to like him when he did Hot Pants, with James Brown. That was right from the very beginning of his career. He was good at that stuff. But when I saw him do Dolomite,
yes,
and that's not your easiest person to do, or even the story that people, whether they knew about him or not, he brought all of that to life, and then did a good version of it. And then, of course, Dream Girls, the MOTOWN was my secret home where I wanted to be all my life.
Yes.
And for him to do that one and do that one justice like they did, I'm really glad that he's doing it.
Man, there's no one better. That's going to be incredible.
Right.
That's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see it. So really, like, do you think they're going to surprise you with it? Like, are you involved?
Yeah, we're involved, but I have no idea what their storyline is going to be. And we lend ourselves to a lot of storylines.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go 1,000 different ways. I have no idea what's on their mind, how they're going to see it. But I know we open up a lot of doors to do different things. So he can come at it from a lot of different ways, and it'll be right, probably.
Yeah, man. That's a hard thing. I mean, you have done so much in all these decades. It's like hard to choose a place to start. Like, how do you choose the subject matters? There's millions of stories.
I done heard a lot of different pictures, different people coming at it, but there's no way to get it all in one story.
Yeah.
Because each era is a story within itself.
Man, absolutely.
The places we were, the things we did in those places, all of them are worthy of a whole movie to talk about them. So I have no qualms.
So I'd love to I have a few, I guess, moments in your life that I would love to ask you about as we jump through. So in order to do that, of course, we got to start with the Parliaments, right? And bring it back to 1967 and I Want to Testify. So that comes out. How did that song change your life at the time?
Well, by 1967, it had already changed from doo-wop into a Motown world for me.
Right.
At 59, it all changed with Smokey Shop Around and in the Marvelous, Mr. Postman's, and that whole sound took over after 59. It was Motown. So by the time we got our first hit record, I was already working at Joe Bett, Motown's publishing company, trying to get into Motown. By the time we got that record, there was a hit. The Beatles was rushing in. The Rolling Stones was rushing in. The European rock was rushing in, actually trying to take Motown out the picture. So we got a hit record in 67, right at the same time Sgt. Pepper came out. Jimi Hendrix, Axis Bold as Love, and Cream, Disraeli Gears, and Fresh Cream. All of those came out at the same time that we put out Testify. Wow. Vanilla Fudge, all of that came out at that 1967. So as soon as we got a hit record, we had to look to, and it was with the Detroit people. It was out of Detroit, but it was too late to be part of Motown because Motown themselves was actually getting ready to move to LA in the movie business. So we had to change really quick. As soon as Testify came out, if you notice, all your goodies are gone, and the Goose, we was out there with the Beatles. We thought we could do the Beatles. We was out there doing weird productions. It wasn't sounding like Motown, but it wasn't sounding like anything else. It definitely wasn't the doo-wop that I grew up on. It was our version of trying to blend what Motown had done and what the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Cream and the rest of them were doing. We had to merge those things together. So we just did Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow. We just did, we went into, we saw all of it was based in blues and rock and roll. So we just basically took our little brothers, Eddie Hazel, Billy Nelson, Tiki, and Bernie Worrell, and we made Tyle Ross. We made our version of the funk. We call it the funk because blues was taken up, rock and roll was taken up. Blues was the one genre that wasn't leaned on, by pop music. So we picked up on the blues and we went into Funkadelic. Because that was the basis of Motown music was funk, but they made it music for young America, which meant it was pop. They put violins on it, and we decided to do what Jimmy basically did it with blues is just make the guitar loud. We had Eddie Hazelnut who could play his butt off blues. So we just did really basic blues real loud with MOTOWN type lyrics, like Smokey Robinson type puns. And being from the era of the hippies and the bring everybody back from the Vietnam War, we was caught up at that moment. And that's we had a lot of social stuff mixed in it. And at the same time, we was on the road learning a lot from the kids, especially Boston, Toronto, Detroit, Ann Arbor, all those spots where a lot of the hippies was hanging out. We was on a lot of those shows doing this new music because they could understand it was blues, it was rock and roll. We didn't have to have a hit record to do that.
Right.
So for 10, 15 years, we basically developed Funkadelic.
And as you were developing that, was it as intentional as you're making it sound to kind of pivot into more into Funkadelic, or was it like you were just around it and it just happened because it was the atmosphere at the time?
It was intended because I had worked at Joe Bett, so I worked at a publisher. I knew what music was going where, who was making what music, to me, I wasn't married to none of it. I worked in a barbershop. You had to change styles as quick as with the hairstyles as quick as people change with their lifestyle, with their clothing, so I was always aware and able to flip it whenever I was necessary. I love doo-wop and Motown, but to stay there, you have to be able to flip it to whatever the next thing is. And to me, when kids come in and say, this is the new shit, that's it. Whether you like it or not, if you need to get out of the way. So I always picked up on kids and what kids wanted to do, and I let that guide me. So I was able to change even when I was just getting used to something. As soon as somebody changed it, I was able, let's go to the next one. What kind of style we got that'll fit that? It's publishing. That's the publishing-minded thing.
I love the thought of that because it's so entrepreneurial, and that shows, that's your leadership. Like, I think a lot of people see you as like a front person. They think of you as like a singer and a songwriter and all that stuff, but all of that stuff is so much deeper in creating the world and being open to pivoting and taking what the youth is listening to and then creating your own version.
That was the best joke of it all because it was the stuff that actually that got on your nerve that you had to actually end up liking. That's the funny part. That's what made, and like I said, and being able to take a joke is another barbershop thing. You learned that in the barbershop quick. Somebody's gonna do it, and if you don't do it, somebody else gonna do it. And if it's gonna work, I might as well be me, whether I like it or not. And so when kids get on my nerve, I look at it as this must be the new thing. Because it wouldn't bother you if it wasn't something worthy of getting on your nerve. You needed to get your old ass out of the way. So in that way, I can take the joke, I can laugh at myself, and it ain't too bad if I bite off of something that's fresh.
Man, it all makes so much sense. Like, to hear your mentality and hear how intentional it was this whole time, it really does make sense. Because we'll talk about sampling later and everything in your influence in hip hop and like how you embrace sampling. I thought was incredible because you were like the first person to really embrace it like that. Like, and we'll get to that later. But it's crazy to hear you say that about you working at the publishing company and the barbershop and everything, and just being like so open to change and embracing change and running with it. And that shows like why here we are. Closing out 2024, entering 2025, you have a Grammy nomination and you're still touring your ass off. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely keeps you in the game. And if it's something that you like, the way I like music, I was always looking for an excuse to stay in the game and not have to give it up. And those are the ways, and especially when you come out of radio, depend on radio and DJs playing your record till you get to the internet. Now you got to worry about followers and likes, and you have to learn all those different concepts on the fly.
Yeah.
So once I saw what my grandkids was doing, they would tell me, "Oh, Granddad, Kendrick Lamar want to do a song with you. He's the type of dude you need to do a song with. He's talked that same shit you talk about," and it made it easier for me to see how that worked, how the Instagram worked, and that I was ready for it when I realized that boom boxes wasn't going to be the key to me playing my music. That I had to get somebody to play it on the internet. I'm a clown anyway, so I know how to get on the internet and clown. And get, I can appreciate TikTok as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Just being able to appreciate that saved me the time from being pissed at the fact that all these kids are sampling my music and data. It's better than the K-Tel packages that you see on TV. You see your music in that, you wouldn't get nothing out of it. At least when they sample it, that means they're making the music valid again. I just have to know how to get in the game. So my thing was, I make an album called Sample Some of This and Some of That. I help you sample it. I move the voices out of the way. I move the horns, separate them. And that way, I'm down with you. And that way I'm able to hang with Snoop, Cube, Dre, all of them. You know, I have to figure out how to get paid for it later. And that's happening right now.
Yes.
You know, all that's coming to pass right now. But I couldn't jump to, you know, your first instinct is that's my music. I want to sue somebody. You ain't going to sue nobody, but somebody ain't got no money.
That's so smart.
Most of them didn't get paid either.
Yeah.
So now it's getting ready to be a big story, and the movie getting ready to come out, and the story is being told, and we still here.
Yeah. I know. Sample Some of This and Sample Some of That is like I think actually some of the most genius, like, cultural movement moves that you had made, like, because I mean, look at what happened from it, right? Like the whole hip hop world and everything grew out of it, and here we are 30 years later, still top of everything.
And it's just becoming known that there was a record called Sample Some of This. I mean, the hip hoppers knew it, the producers knew it, but nobody else knew it. Now people begin to tell the story. Oh, you made samples? I made a sample of Atomic Dog. As soon as the record came out, the B-side of Atomic Dog was the record chopped up into pieces.
Yep. So it's like Dre knew it, Battle Cat knew it, but everybody else didn't know it.
Right.
The West Coast, LA,
the East Coast knew it. I mean, even Nas had some of his records was from the sample series, not the hit records. So you have to really be on it. Eric Sermon had the sample series when I met him, you know, in 90.
Yeah. When you're doing that and you're embracing sampling and being at the ground floor of sampling when it's coming out and it's illegal and people are freaking out about it and stuff, like, are you getting pushback from like the community around you or team or anything like that? Or is it just like always just like George knows what he's doing, George has vision, go?
No, but everybody was saying, of course, you try to get paid, you try to do it, but it wasn't the artist. I already knew that. So it wasn't no sense of me going after them. It was always going to be between myself and the record companies and the publishing companies. And I knew where they were at. They was making their deals with each other under the table. Sooner or later, it's going to come to light. I mean, I can't be upset. I was, upset that I didn't get a lot of it because it was right in your face. But Humpty and I was really tight when they did Humpty Dance.
Yeah.
And that was one that the song was taken out of my son's name and put in my name. They just got carried away with they couldn't take it from nobody else, so they took it out of his name, put it in my name. That way they could steal it from me.
That's ridiculous.
Right. But that's really involved to tell that story until you get to the right time.
Yeah.
Because that's a big story. You need a lot of lawyers to somebody had that much nerve.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. But right now, that's kind of story is going to be the front story. When you hear Ben Crump tell it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a loud story. And no, they didn't. Yes, they did those kind of things because they got comfortable with taking it from me. So I end up fighting with every one of my friends. If I'd have been mad at the artist that did it or the people that I was working with who didn't get paid. Because almost all the writers that was in my company, they did it to them too because they were doing it to me.
So why now? What makes it now able? Because like there's just like the momentum is there, the proof is there.
The momentum is there. We've been working with the government. We've been working with John Conyers, Sheila Jackson Lee. We've been working with the government for the last 20 years trying to get this out into the open until Ben Crump come along. He's my frat brother and he's my lawyer.
Nice.
It's a civil rights beef.
Yeah.
It's not a beef, of just business no more. They done did it to intergenerational. They done did it to my grandkids and great-grandkids.
Yes.
Because they could do it to me. They did it to each one of the band members and their family.
Yeah.
The writers that was in the band didn't get paid. Now their family ain't getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
The copyright recaptures is coming back to their family. They can't get them.
Yeah.
So that's what makes now a better time to do it. And not to say Eddie Murphy doing the movie story. Whatever he do is going to bring the whole thing to the attention. And we still down with all the artists that's working out there now. Cube and Kendrick did a record with me a couple of years ago. I did one with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, long as I can keep my relationship with whatever new generation of musicians is coming up, whether it's musician or artist, I'm painting now. And I got Lauren Horsley, right out of Compton, who's the hottest painter right now. So I'm down with all of the generations, whether it's music or art. I try to stay in touch because I've been doodling and dabbling into painting myself. All of that shows the connection between myself, Detroit, and Compton.
Yep, absolutely.
We try to keep all those relationships intact. East Coast the same way, Detroit the same way.
Man, and everyone's got your back, like the whole artist community, right? Like everyone will come out and yeah. It's I'm excited to see this all come out and to have you get what you deserve, man. You and your whole family and like the whole Funkadelic community, right? Like everyone deserves that money.
And
like,
everybody that participated with us, all of the writers and things that was in the band. But they deserve their families deserve their money. Their heirs deserve their share of the copyrights, the ones that's not here anymore.
Yeah,
their families still deserve that. And the way these people they'll tell you, we gave it to George. They didn't give me shit.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, still touring here with my entire family and my kids and my grandkids. Everyone's in the band.
And I'm doing that to make sure that they at least have a chance up until when we can get this stuff into the public's eye.
Yeah.
I'm traveling with them. I would have loved to have retired. I like doing what I'm doing, but I'd love to have retired a couple of years ago. But I have to stay here till it peaks.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, the kids are doing a great job.
The kids are doing a hell of a job. I can sit on stage now and just direct them. They're killing it. But a lot of people think, it's me. I'll do that till I have to, but I want them to know the band can do it if I'm not even there. They are killing it. We got so many different variations of music. And it's the family, and it's the band's family. The trumpet player is the drum. His son is the drummer.
Benzel
is the drummer. Gary Scheidt, the diaper man, his son is guitar player, lead singer.
Yeah. Star Child Jr. Everyone's so great, man. It's such a great community like that you have. It's really beautiful, honestly, like what you've done. It's like what you did 60s, 70s, and then to carry it 80s, 90s, and the kids and the grandkids. And like here you are, and like everyone it's such a loving camp too. Whenever I'm at your shows, hanging around backstage, like everyone is so happy. It's so cool. Everyone goes on stage and crushes it. It's still the Funkadelic vibe that many years later. Yeah. That many years later, it's still the vibe on stage. Like it's I watch videos of you in the 70s and then I go and I see you play now live and I'm like, man,
that's the same
just
thing.
Like, it's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I guess I want to start kind of earlier, but like, how did you initially create the community?
I think, the first was 5 singers, doo-wop singers.
Yeah.
And once we got to Motown trying to be the Temptations, like I said, it was peaking at that time.
Yeah.
And rock and roll was coming in. So that way, you knew the backup musicians.
Yeah.
With rock and roll, you knew Jimmy Page, you knew Barnum, you knew the band members, you knew John Paul, and you knew everybody that played in the band. That was the era that was coming in. You knew the musicians. So we had to change parliaments into Parliament.
Yeah.
Right at Osmium with Dozier Holland label. We had to change it. And now we got Parliament and Funkadelic. That was the band, the 5 musicians, Bernie Worrell, Eddie Hazel, Billy Nelson, Ty Ross, and Tiki Forward. That was the Funkadelic. But we called them the Parliament-Funkadelic meant thing. It was no longer a group or a band. It was a thing. It was a play. It was a show. It was like hair. It was like all of those type of things. Same thing Queen kind of did with their opera type vibe.
Yeah.
It was a thing. It was no longer just a band. And we thought it would stop with just the 10 of us, but then along come a Bootsy. Because Motown was hiring the band out from under me every now and then. Eddie, Bernie, and Billy would go play for Motown. They played for Temptations or played for different people. For Norma Whitfield, so we had to have a second band too. So we had Gary Scheider, Boogie, who all was part of they're all from Plainfield. The second string team came in, and you had Gary, Boogie, Cash John up in Toronto, and Bootsy, his brother. So now we got like 15 to 20 people that's part of the thing. They swap in and out. And so when I started getting record deals, I just got a deal for everybody.
Yeah.
Bootsy and his rubber band, Parliament, Funkadelic, Eddie Hazel, Bernie Worrell, Parlette. Everybody wants to be a star anyway. So everybody that worked for us got recorded. We recorded our lawyers. We never put the record. I still got the record. But we recorded.
That's so great.
We was on such a roll, we recorded everybody around us.
Wow. You were really CEOing it.
CEOing, not like that.
You really were. Like, it was like you're so much more than just like singer of your band, right?
No,
you are so much more.
We recorded the lawyers too. We got the lawyers, engineers. Oh, we had more engineers on our records than anywhere.
That's so great. So obviously then Maggot Brain comes, you embrace the rock and roll, the psychedelic, the funkadelic gets deeper.
When we did Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow, we was embracing anything that we do from then on. Because once we did that, we have a long ways to go between that and back to Motown.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We had a lot of stuff we could do between those two. So after Free Your Mind, we could actually settle down and actually start being normal again. Because we proved the point that we could go crazy.
Yes.
And by the time we got to Maggot Brain, we had peaked that concept. We actually really did make it. Wow. We did this to the nth with Maggot Brain. Now we can actually do Cosmic Slop and Standing on the Verge and ease back into Motown, meet Motown halfway. Don't come all the way back. But then you get a Bootsy in there and he bring horn players like Fred Wesley and Maceo Parker from the James Brown Band. So now we can actually do what Sly Stone is doing.
Man.
We can make music with horns, and Bernie's got a talent that we ain't been using. He's a arranger. He drew charts. He wrote charts.
Wow. Yeah.
So once we let him out the bag with that one, you got another sound that Parliament, Funkadelic, Bootsy could do. So we just start doing every kind of, when you listen to the Horny Horns album, that's like one of the best big band sounds there is, along with the Brecker Brothers.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing, man. Would love to kind of double tap in on some of the iconic tracks, like for Give Up the Funk, right? So Give Up the Funk comes out. but for the recording session of it, like how does a song like Give Up the Funk come together? How is it written? How is it arranged? Like, does it start with like the chorus melody? Like, how do you make that all come together?
Oh, Give Up the Funk. Oh, I'll tell you, you'll hear it easily. Fame, dun, 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 dun. Fame, we want the funk.
Whoa.
Give up that funk. Oh, we need that thing, that tone and that one. I told the drummer one day we were listening and I heard that song. I said,
David Bowie,
David Bowie songs, yeah, Fame. I told our drummer, remember that beat. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. God, just remember that much, and we want the funk. Give. That's a whole nother thing, but just that one word, one note, bang, just that. That was the beginning of the song.
It started with that.
There's just that one. It's a one on the one and exaggerated. But then I just put, we want the funk. Give up the funk. Instead of fame, we. And that
is crazy.
That's the feel of that was the feel of the song. And all the other stuff was just Bootsy playing in between, Bernie playing.
Just continuing it.
Yeah. And then the horn parts is, almost like big band arrangement. Like I said, we had Fred Maceo and all them were in there. So you had what James Brown was doing on dance music. You had that in a big arrangement now. But we were still clowning, we want to turn this mother. It was basically chants that we was doing on stage for years before we ever put the record out.
What about, was that Bernie that's choosing like, okay, let's start it with the drum groove and then the terrible groove off the sucker?
Oh, no,
where does that come from?
That part of it, we just, Ray was always the secret weapon, the bass singer. Tear the roof off. That was always, that's a 1950 doo-wop move. Put that in there, and it worked real good in this new era with him singing, tear the roof off. We're going to tear the roof off. I did that part of it. And that you got a real type of thing going. That's the Motown chops. The hooks.
Yeah.
The Holland Dozier, the Smokey Robinson. Motown was the king of hooks.
Dude. This is crazy because that song is all hooks too.
Yeah, but that's
like
the other
Give
thing.
Up the Funk is all hooks.
That's the other thing that I did. I exaggerated what Smokey Robinson would do all the time, and that put a lot of puns in the song. I overdid that. I did that till it became ridiculous. Matter of fact, that was part of our thing. Once I run out, then you had other comedians in the band who take pot shots at shit and add their 2 cents in it. And you get a lot of puns in most of our songs. Some of them didn't make any sense. Some of them was double entendres. Some of them just sounded like they should be in there. Had no reason for being in there at all.
Dude, that is so great. I'm going to listen to this song differently for the rest of my life now. That's amazing. What about Flashlight? What was the Flashlight session like? Was that the biggest party ever in the studio?
Oh no, that was really simple too, because Flashlight was a track that Boots gave me along with Funkadelic, and it was just Flashlight was guitar, bass, 2 guitars and a bass. That was just a track. 2 guitars, a bass, and Funkadelic was 2 guitars. And that was because, we needed, that was, the third album. We needed some songs from Bootsy. So he just gave me the first tracks he got his hands on and gave them to me. But when I got them, the guitars are so funky, they got them James Brown feels on them.
Oh, yeah.
Bernie had just gotten his Moog synthesizer. So what we did was he would play what Larry Graham from Sly Stone would have played if he was in the band. he was showing me how Larry would play the bass. That was Larry Graham, his interpretation of Larry Graham, but he's doing it on a Moog.
Yeah, because that's like right when the Moog came out,
That's right when the Moog came out. So it was
wow.
And he's got so much classical theory that he can make a theme out of that. Not just the same thing, but he could do his variations all the way through the whole song. So it's like a classical piece of music being played on a James Brown track. And if you listen at that bass there's no accidental notes nowhere on it. Even though he played a lot of stuff, all of it resolved just the way he wanted it to, and just the way they do in movie themes.
It's one of the greatest bass lines ever.
Right, and that was the key to that. And the ha da da dee da 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 da. That was my 5th grade best friend's bar mitzvah melody. His name was Myron Sanford. Myron. I forgot Myron Sanford something. Myron.
No, I can't unhear that.
Yes, you did. His mother used to say, Myron, you and George come in for sandwiches and soup. And he had to do his bar mitzvah, whatever it was, rehearsal. He's getting ready to be, whatever, his bar mitzvah. And we was no more than 12, 13. And this ha da da dee da ha da 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 ha da da dee. So that's the melody that stuck with me all my life.
Oh my God! So you already had that melody when you were a teenager kid from a bar mitzvah, and then all of a sudden, what? 20 years later, Flashlight comes out, or you're recording Flashlight, and you're like, wait, I got a hook for this. I got a melody.
I got ha da da dee da 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 da. It just worked so perfectly in that song. Matter of fact, I used it in 2 or 3 songs. I mean,
oh my God, dude. It's so genius. You don't hear it as like obviously you just hear it as like this funk epic choral melody. You don't think like a Jewish bar mitzvah.
As soon as you hear it, you know that's where that came from.
It's a bar mitzvah song.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, Flashlight should now be a bar mitzvah song, actually.
Yeah, it really should do, just like Atomic Dog did with the Q's.
Oh, dude.
I mean, look at Q Dogs. They picked up Atomic Dog, and it's been their theme forever.
Oh, dude, this is so great. Okay, what about One Nation Under a Groove? Which is just even the best tagline and everything. And
One Nation, that one was magic because we had just gotten a case of like 3 different brand new keyboards, Yamaha, that just donated or gave us, 3 new keyboards. Junie Morrison, who was in Ohio Players, had just joined the band. He had just joined the band, so we going in the studio, and we got these 3 new keyboards. One guy was named Doug Duffy, he was from New Orleans. He played keys. I forgot who he played with, but he just happened to be with us. And Bernie. So they opened their Yamahas up, and they was setting them up and getting used to these brand new keyboards, really advanced sounds on them. Gary Scheider, who was this guitar and singer, came in and he had a guy with him that was playing a banjo. I don't even remember the guy's name, but Gary had taught him the chords to this riff that he was playing. So he was teaching the guy that. Junie, Bernie, and Duffy joined right in with him while Gary was showing them. And next thing you know, we had that. One Nation. That figure that they playing. Bernie and Junie is playing something that they remembered from their rehearsals in classical music.
Wow.
Whatever their lick was, they was related because when you hear them two, they both playing similar thing, one behind the other. They both was reciting it back and forth to each other, all that, but it was in conjunction with this groove that Gary and this banjo guy was playing. Yep. And that was at the beginning of that track when we put it down. Bernie put the bass on it, again with the mood. And I just went in and ad-libbed, One Nation Under a Groove. And did it and then brought the vocals in, and we all overdubbed on it. Now, when we finally finished putting all the vocals on it, you make a little cassette after each session to see what you did for that day. We ran a cassette after we'd done the vocals, and we figured we'd come back in next week and mix it. We came back in next week, mixed it. The week after that, we did that for about 2 months, trying to mix it. And the mixes, none of them was as good as the cassette mix that we had when we put the voices on. So we end up using the cassette mix. It was never mixed and mastered.
Wow.
The song was never mixed. We tried to mix it. We spent a fortune trying to mix it with all the new equipment, but none of them sounded as good as that cassette mix that we had. So
the magic was there in the cassette mix. That's crazy.
And it ended up being the master mix.
Wow. Okay, I got to ask you about Atomic Dog because
oh god,
one thing in particular. Okay, the beat, right? The beat of Atomic Dog. So I remember when we did the Jam together, Benzel invited me to come and play drums with you guys. So we did double drums. So I was on drums and Benzel was on drums, and I had the sample on the pad. He gave me the sound, right? And I was like, oh, it's easy. It's kick, snare, kick, snare. But it's not easy because of where the earliness of the like, and Benzel was trying to explain it to me, and I was like, how is this so impossibly hard to play what sounds like the simplest beat?
You know what it is? That's actually two different drummers. The foot and the snare is actually Dennis on the snare and Gary Cooper on the foot. Dennis did the drums, played the solo first, and I wanted to put a different foot on there. So I had Bone dub the session in, but when we got ready to mix it, we liked it what Dennis was doing on the snare, but we liked it what Bone was doing on the foot. So you actually had both of them, but you also had the drum machine on there playing it backwards.
That's playing it backwards.
We put it on forward, flip the tape over, and so now you got the matter of fact, that's how I dubbed in on it. I sang with it going like that, not knowing that it was backwards. I came in tripping, in the
moment.
For the moment, I was tripping my ass off, needing to be tripping or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
So I rushed my way in there and just took over the session and dubbed in before I knew what the beat was. And when the beat came on, I couldn't tell what key it was in because all you had was the beat and the backward stuff. So it was no key. So that's why I'm talking. This is the story of famous dogs. For the dog that chases his tail will be busy. I'm trying to wait for the key to see what key is in. and it never comes into a key. So I just end up, why must I feel like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog. And I did everything atonal. And run on through it. And then when Gary and them came in, they put their harmony over the top of the atonal. Why must I feel like that? Why must? So it's actually, that was the sound of the song, and it was backwards, so we had to leave it that way. Then we put the drummers on Bone and put them on right. But we mixed one foot and one snare.
Wow. God, it'd be so crazy to hear the original of just like the drums and then like your monotone vocal.
Oh, yeah. Wild, yeah. Oh, we've done that a few times.
Man. And was that like, so yeah, you're tripping at the time. Is that like the craziest kind of timeline for you? Like the moment of George?
Oh, that one was like the peak of the craziness. That, not that it ended there, it stayed. It got worse every now and then, but not. That was like one of the craziest, but it worked out good because the song came out much better than it should have come out.
It all worked out.
It all worked out, and with all the different things that I did.
Yeah,
like I said, put Dennis on the drummer. They put Bone on it. then try to remix it in Detroit where I usually mix everything. I ended up going to Miami and mixing it at Criteria. That's where the Bee Gees was at, and it was a fresh thing. But it also came up with a whole new sound for that particular track, which, like I said, was really weird. There was never another track like that.
Yeah,
that's ever. What you can't plan that kind of stuff.
No, you can't plan it. And so, like, I mean, you're tripping. You're like you're going crazy at that time, but you're still leading. Like, you're still moving everything forward, getting the vision out. Like, how on earth, how did you do that?
I think I was lucky that time. I don't want to have to do it like that no more. Because I can remember just how bad I felt that particular day. You know, I'm thinking the world is against me, but hey, no, that's just how it is. Get your ass on in there and record. That's what you have to do. Wow,
man. That's crazy. At what point did you realize that you were like, okay, I need to be done with the drugs. Like, I gotta chill out.
It took a few more years for
you gotta ride the wave.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, I said it lots of times.
Yeah,
but I wasn't lying to myself. I knew that I was there in it, and I was hooked on it. I had to find something that the music was the only thing that I wasn't gonna let it mess up.
Yeah,
and it took me a long time to realize that I was messing up by not putting music out. It taking too long to get it done. So, and when I got, by the time I got 70, I realized that no, hell no. You need to stop right now, today, not even tomorrow. And when I did that, it was I never looked back. I never regretted it. Never none of it. It just was over. And the having to fight for the rights of the song and the music became dominant in my mind.
Yes.
Once that became dominant in my mind, then the mission was survive to this story get told.
Yes.
And get this book out, get the story out, and all of that. And I'm thinking I'm arriving at that point now to where the story is getting told, and everything is working out good.
So, was it your 70th birthday that was really that moment?
No,
literally
I just got sick. I don't get sick that easy. But this was one time myself, Sly Stone, and a couple of friends. I just got sick, and it was from that, and I could tell that was it. Because when I didn't get sick, and I had to go to the hospital for being sick.
Yeah,
and then I realized that was that point. I gave it away and never did it again after that.
That's amazing.
Never thought about it again. Most of the mission was from then on was that everybody thinks you're gonna die or you dead from the dope. You can actually get stuff cleaned up if you don't tell nobody that you clean. So nobody knew for years really whether I was or not. I didn't say I didn't say announce it or nothing.
Right.
It was about a mission of getting this music together, get all the paperwork over because I'd been in lots of courts and things. So it's about getting all that together. And then I realized, that I had to be careful with the lawyers and everybody else.
Yeah.
Took a whole lot of time to figure out just how to do it.
Yes.
Because everybody's got money being made off of this stuff. So it ain't nobody going to give it up easy.
Yeah, for sure.
So I had to go through the copyright office, like I said, John Conyers, congressman. I got paperwork strode from here across the country with all people, just in case I didn't make it.
That's not fun too. That's not the fun time to party. This is the focus time.
This is focus, and make sure that a lot of people got the backup in case I ain't here. To my family, my wife, they could have something to go on. Because I realized I had waited a long time to try to straighten it up.
Yeah.
And so, but that's been the mission. That's been what gave me the juice to actually be back out on the road, because I got the mission is to bring this through and not bring it through whining, trying to sue everybody under the sun. That because it's only a few people that's involved, and that's coming to a head now.
That's been like a 10-year journey, that you're on right now.
No, it's been like 17. Oh, you mean
crazy?
Oh, you mean far as cleaned up?
No, cleaned up, and also like what you're saying right now, like everything with the lawsuit, getting everything together, getting the paperwork together, getting the story together.
That's been about 17 years, yeah.
Wow, man, that's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing that before that. Now I was doing that before that. I was actually doing, but I wasn't doing it with the drugs being behind me.
Yeah. Wow, man. So, I mean, what an incredible moment that we're coming into right now with, like, I mean, look, the audiobook's out. You got the Grammy for that. The story's being made with Eddie Murphy. Like it's amazing, man. It's coming. The tours are hitting. Like the lawsuit's coming. It's coming together. Like your profile has continued to grow. Your storytelling is out more and more, and you have everything from the artists of back then backing you to, like you said, Kendrick Lamar. All the stuff of today, of course, your Snoop and your Dre and all the homies, like, but it's happening. It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming,
I feel it. I mean, that's what I'm feeling good about, and all this being part of the story. You know, because I feel we started in 1956, right when rock and roll started.
Yes,
dude. You know, so I got a chance to dream. You know, with Frankie Lyman and Elvis Presley's and Chuck Berry, you know what I'm saying, Little Richard. I had a chance to dream right from the very beginning of Rock Around the Clock. You know what I'm saying? I was right when that stuff was hyped, right through the best part of it, like I say, is Motown, right through our own Mothership era. Yes. And to come out into this, where we at now, getting ready to leave the planet.
Wow.
I mean,
wow, man.
I mean, I see that as, wow, for real.
Man, the most incredible life you have lived, man. It's amazing. Still inspiring
just
today.
Getting started.
Just getting started. Let's go. Hey, so speaking of rock and roll, right? So you got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All of that.
And Prince inducted you.
Right.
And in Prince's speech, I watched it the other night, of him announcing you guys.
I inducted Sly Stone.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool, man. And when Prince inducted you, he said, "I love you, George, and I need you." I thought that was really, really beautiful that he said, "I need you."
You don't know, we at that time we was talking about, you know, his slave thing in the record industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I was telling him, but I told him, I can't go picket with you, no. I can't go protesting with you. I'm too old. I know better than that. They'd fuck me up if I try that shit. He used to beg me to go with him to, you know, talk with and pitch his, you know, what he wanted to say to the DJs. I'm telling them, they ain't got nothing to do with it. It's their bosses. They can't do that. And that was what he was talking about. I used to, I'm not preach, but I used to just run my mouth a lot.
Yeah.
You know, about the business. And there was a couple of conspiracy theories. I was, you know, the Majestic 12, the aliens. I was preaching that shit to everybody I ran across. There was this book, I had him reading it. Oh, my God. I had everybody reading that book, and then I realized I need to shut up.
Man, how about now? What are you thinking now with the aliens, with these drones over Jersey? What's going on, George?
I'm all of that. That's been happening. I mean, I'm glad everybody else getting to see that now. That's an everyday occurrence, you know, but they trying to find a way to let everybody know that's been happening. But back then, I had the book that was talking about it like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so
crazy.
And
he was like, "Come on my house, let's talk about that." And I'm like, "No, I don't need to be able to talk," because he had a mission, and he was able to get away with it with the mission. Yeah. But it scared me.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go through that.
Yes, man. I know. I feel like Prince. Everyone always, like, of course, looked up to Prince and was so intimidated, I think, by Prince. But it was so obvious that Prince like looked up to you.
Yeah,
he was just like,
they needed to be, because that boy was talented to no end. I mean, he was talented all kinds of ways. You know. Yeah, he woo. And he just wanted it correct, and he knew in advance how he wanted it. Mm-hmm. That's when somebody's like that, when it comes out the way they want it. and they can
Yes.
see it before it happened.
Yes.
You got to get that up. He did that.
Absolutely. Man, that's so great. One thing I would love to talk to you to touch on, because we touched on sampling and like your acceptance of sampling, and then what you gave to the sampling world and the hip hop world and everything that came out of it. What are your thoughts today on AI and AI music? Because to me, when I think about it, I'm like, this is kind of the modern day sampling, just with this new technology.
Oh man, that's I got to watch some more Star Trek on that. I got, they had all kinds of theories and things, and they had the holodeck and all of that stuff. So that one is like, oh man, it's gonna be that way. So I mean, it's just about what do we do in the mean. It's too late to not think of it. You can't unring that bell. It's already there. So how do we do it, or how should we look at it? I don't know. That intelligence and humans and aliens, it takes a lot of fresh thinking now that we come to terms that evolution is going to evolve.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then we have to get ready for whatever new, just like we had to get ready for from the cassette players to online stuff, downloading stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get used to that. A lot of stuff we're going to have to get used to. We're going to hate because we're humans and we don't want it to be other than human. But I don't know, intelligence. Did somebody program us? Are we robots? Did somebody program and send here? Like the Anunnakis? All of that's
the multiverse,
all of that stuff. Those are things that, hey, we might not just be coming into this for the first time. It may have happened already before.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I wish I had enough of those years to stay around to contemplate dealing with it.
I know. I feel like, with making life interplanetary and going to Mars, I'm like, man, I would say George got to be the first person on the plane.
Clone me right now so I can hang around.
We got to be cloning George, man.
Yeah,
we need you leading us the next 40 years, bro. You'd be like, I already knew all this. I already been telling y'all.
Yep. And see, now, like I said, that Anunnaki thing, that's a fresh one. That's a fresh concept on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we definitely got to pay attention to.
Man, what do you think? Where do you think we're going, man? What's happening in the world?
Oh, we getting ready to leave the planet. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. We getting ready to jump off and take our covered wagons to whatever new place we come up, and maybe anything. And with the dimensions being a part of that equation. Not only the other planets, we get to deal with dimensions too. We got that as an option.
Yeah.
It was deep enough. We used to have to deal with magic, but computers just blew magic out the window. Magic ain't a problem no more. We can deal with magic now.
Man, well, dude, I'm so happy we got to spend some time together. Thank you so much for the time, man.
Love kicking it, man.
Always, man. I can't wait for you to be out in LA next, and let's celebrate at the Grammys. Let's go, everybody. Go vote for George Clinton. Let's go. Best audiobook.
Do that. Yeah, I can talk some more shit. Okay,
hey,
man.
Go listen to the audiobook too. It's so good, and you can hear more alien stories in there as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I probably do. I need to listen to that. Okay, man.
Hey, much love, George. Thank you so much, my bro. George Clinton, let's go.
Go with Elmo. 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 This is the stuff, man.